What's up, everybody?
Blue
Welcome to
Bloods.
another episode of the Blue Bloods College Game Time podcast. We've got another Game Time interview.
Yes,
got my
sir.
man DeWayne Autrey, former
How's it going?
defensive back for Bethany University. He's built a reputation for himself as one of the most feared players in the arena football leagues, the indoor football leagues.
Yes, sir.
He's been a professional player in those leagues for really the last decade nearly. He's going to spend some time with us. We're going to get to hear his story. We're going to get to hear the depth behind him, not just the football player, but the man that he is. And so, DeWayne, bro, what's going on, man?
How's it going? Happy
Good,
holidays,
man.
everybody. First
DeWayne,
and foremost.
man, I think we need to call you DeWayne Hitstick Autrey.
Yeah.
Man. I looked up your highlights, man. You be laying the boom, man.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated, man.
Hey, so DeWayne, let's just start here, man. Just tell us your story. You know, we got a lot of listeners, especially a part of our fan base currently is over in Nebraska, where they have a huge indoor football league following.
Okay,
and
definitely.
So they may not know the story of how you got there. I mean, tell us about your high school days. Where are you from? Your recruiting process, how you got from Bethany University to the indoor leagues, and just give us your story.
Okay. So back in, I would say like 2004, getting to high school, started out in South Houston High School out in Pasadena, Texas.
Okay.
Texas. All right.
Yeah. So basically, I came into high school as an athlete, as a quarterback, tailback, receiver, and things like that. And basically, like when I got my shot to be on varsity as a freshman, I was like, they brought me on to be a quarterback, and then basically that game was going. I didn't get in yet, and they threw me in at cornerback actually. And my first hit that I made one of the top recruits in Texas, basically fumble. And from then on, it kind of like put a stamp on me as far as being like a tackler and hitter. As far as like in high school, and then I went off to college basically. Got recruited, but that didn't work out, and I ended up just going, following my older brother to NAIA school, Bethany College out in Lynchburg, Kansas.
Because you initially had a offer, was it Angelo State?
It was,
State.
yeah, it was, ASU.
Okay.
So that didn't work out how I wanted it to. So it's like, I mean, my mother's words were basically, once I leave, it was just gonna have my brothers as my family, away from the house. So I followed my older brother out there. To Lynchburg NAIA school, and they basically
Kansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so basically going out there, that was a different atmosphere in general.
Yeah.
With sports, and everything was different. Everything was different going out there. But that career, I mean, I didn't really get to play my whole career in college. I got my freshman and sophomore year. On the field, basically went out there and they put me on as cornerback, and then I would actually go to free safety or strong safety, just depending on the package or the tight end set or the receiver set.
Gotcha.
And then also, I mean, we would get at times like, we weren't getting really good field position unless, there was an interception or I was a kick returner and punt returner as well. And so at least So basically, like, unless I gave us good field possession. So then coach brought me in. I mean, it was all on coach. Like then, I mean, there was something in them, like in the coaching staff, like they basically brought me in. It was like, hey man, we're gonna convert you over to offense, and make you wildcat quarterback, tailback. I had a few receiver packages, but basically mainly I was just wildcat quarterback and things like that. And so got into a few off the field issues. Where I had to basically redshirt, and going into my junior year, and then my mom basically had got killed back home in Houston, and so with that happening, the mother of my kids now basically like she was a friend back in college and a woman that I was just seeing at the time, and basically at that time, during that darkness, like the light that was going on, she already was with child, like my oldest son. She was already with him, 2 months at the time. And so I introduced her to my mom before she had got killed and everything like that. So my mom knew of her and everything like that, and knew of our oldest child, but she never got to like formally like get to meet him and everything. But like I said, during that darkness, I just looked upon it like in my upbringing. My father was never around, and I didn't really have that, just upbringing with just the father in the house. And my mom always like really installed that in us. Like, if there was ever going to be a man around, it was going to, hold us down first and foremost, and then be involved with my mom. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just something like already installed. So it's like I just went ahead and took that opportunity just to face that. And little did I know, staying in the frat brother's house for like a month. And then literally, sorority sister told me to come work at Finish Line, and working in there for like a month.
Damn.
Like she was a assistant manager there, and she told me, she came and gave me the job. Working there for like a month, I put up for like maybe like 50,000 in sales, and like somebody was like, like
Wow.
they just came and made me like they gave me the keys, and they was like, you're assistant manager as well now, and then didn't
Wow.
even like recognize everything I was doing. But it was just, back home in me, being out there in Kansas and like putting things together. That's how it really worked in retail, like, just dressing people. And so
Yeah.
being assistant manager literally put me in a position to be in the store more. And then I didn't know,
Yeah.
like a random person just walked in there. It was like, hey, we're about to start this professional team here in Salina, Kansas. You should come to the interview. Well, to the
Wow.
basically they were
The
having
tryout.
yeah, they would tryouts and things like that. And I didn't tell them about myself or anything like that. And so I
Yeah.
basically went there to the tryout. It was like first person they signed out of, I think it was like 200 people that showed up that day.
Wow.
And little did I know, how my career was going to be going out. So got defensive rookie of the year that year. We went to the championship. Lost in my first year ever playing professional arena football and as a professional.
Man.
So I didn't recognize at that time, what was really going on in my career. But little did I know, it just started paving the way for myself and for a lot of other people.
Yeah.
So
Hey, DeWayne, I'll tell you this. You have to be a baller to make a team off those open tryouts, because
Right.
as someone who's been on the other side of it, a lot of times, just as well as I do, those are just money makers for the organization. So if
Right.
you actually
yes,
get a contract off an open tryout, you can ball, because I
yeah,
think I may have seen one person actually, and I was a part of a lot of those open
a lot,
tryouts.
the tryouts,
And I think only
man.
one person actually saw the field, so that says a lot. But let me tell you, let me ask you this. I'm going to go off script, DeWayne. Just listening to you tell your story. One of my favorite quotes, okay, that I kind of have used as one of the foundational pillars in my own personal life is adversity introduces a man to himself. And just kind of, you don't have to get into the nuts and bolts of the things you've alluded to that you've walked through, but what did you learn about yourself as you walked through those times of adversity? Because obviously you came out on the other side of a better man and in a better position. Like, what do you feel like you learned about who you are as a man having to go through some of those circumstances?
It was really perseverance, and then God on my side, honestly, and then
Mm,
my whole upbringing. Like I was, so I would say like from sixth grade, that was my last year playing little league football,
mm,
and I never lost a game, and I never lost a game ever up until that point, ever in my life playing football. And my mom, through her circumstances, like she got out of prison, and she moved us out to like Houston, like from Fort Bend area, where we
mm.
were playing Little League from my grandmother. And losing my grandmother, yeah, Fort Bend,
Is that
Sugarland
the
area, Richmond,
Okay.
Rosenberg,
Rosenberg Terry
yeah,
Mhm.
and
yeah, like so, like probably her, like my family members, Jacquez Rogers, James Rogers.
Yeah,
I
from
have a lot
Oregon
of
State.
yes.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's
okay.
like
yeah.
that was our
Okay.
whole little league team, and it was like a
Oh,
whole little
wow.
league team full of like a lot of relatives, and
Okay.
so
Hey, let
coming
Gotcha.
me
up in
tell you
those
this,
circles,
DeWayne. I don't want to cut you off, but when we talk about Rosenberg Terry, I think his name was Derek Griffin.
yeah,
Um,
another cousin,
that man single-handedly won the state championship. He beat Kimball by himself. I watched it with my own two eyes
yeah,
at the state tournament. And I think the game before that, he played Ashawn Robinson
yeah,
from Arlington Heights, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was at that tournament, and that dude put on a display. But anyways, we don't have to go rabbit trail into
No,
that.
that's
But
what it's like.
I
So
know
it's like a
exactly
lot
the
of
area
people.
you're talking about.
So it's like when people start understanding like where I come from before I got moved into like the Houston area, it's like, oh, so that's where like he's really like that. And it's like, no, like, but
Right,
it was
right.
just a thing,
Yes.
just like coming from that smaller area, like I was born in Houston, but mom moved us, like with family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then going back out to the bigger pond, it was like it was all the bigger schools, so it was like you really had to show that. And so that was the
Right.
thing. It was like I was like I would tell people, it's like, well, I was never the strongest, never the fastest, never the most athletic on the field, not one game. But then my coach always told me, he was like, like the schools that's coming to see these other teams, like the moment that you put them on film, they're gonna recognize and ask who you are. And so every game
Mm.
I literally used that from high school even to college, all the way in my professional career. So I never cared
Yeah.
about the team. It was like, so like you always hear in film like who's the go-to guy, and it's like, okay, well, you're
Right.
on my checklist. Like that's it.
Right.
It's like I just started making a
Yeah.
checklist, and I learned that from like a college teammate, my friend, frat brother Cavell Gordon, and things like that, a bigger brother of mine. And it's like he had a checklist, so it's like just learn it, man. Start putting people on the checklist. It's like I'm not
Mm.
going to
Yeah.
be concerned with it too much more. But yeah, so just coming up like that, it was just a perseverance, and then just knowing like a lot of my loved ones was like always around me, and I would always pray to them like before the games. Like people would always see me kneel, and then I just start seeing more and more people just doing it,
Yeah.
just actually showing that. Because it was like it wasn't easy. Like always, like
Yeah.
going into a season or being in my off season and losing someone, whether it be my mom,
Mm.
my sister, my cousin, my uncle, um, friends, like close friends and relatives. And it's like for my 9 years going into 10 years, like it's literally happened every year.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
and I've came across a lot of people, and they just see like that's just the way that I play. I use that
Yeah.
those trials and tribulations to hit stick the way that I do. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
outside of some of these things that we're given, to exert our energy, people out here down bad and that they don't have, ways to, express themselves. And I just look for all these years, that's been my way to express myself like my whole life.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
Absolutely. Man, one thing I think, like listening to you, and everyone faces adversity, as Trey says, but I think one of the things that help people navigate adversity is purpose. And it sounds like, man, I would just love to know, like, what's kind of your purpose that drives you? Because everybody in life, they have different circumstances, and if we're just being honest, what we always will be on this podcast, life can knock you down, and a lot of people don't get back up. And listening to
mhm.
all the stuff you face, like, what is the purpose that you've been chasing after, or what have you discovered about your purpose that's kind of ignited that fire in you?
Mm.
I mean, because it's like, dang, like at first it was like, like a lot of people like, once you make it, you want to give back to like your own parents, like your grandparents. So it was like
Right.
Mm.
I lost my grandma, like
Yeah.
so I was like I was never in that position to put grandma in the place. I lost my mom, so I was never in the position to put moms in a place. And it
Hmm.
was like, through like becoming like a young parent, through those trials and tribulations, like from 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 the moment that I became a parent, like I always understood, like, well, I'm gonna put my kids in a position that I was never in, you know, make
Yeah.
sure like whether I'm here or not, like they'll be in a position, to walk into college, and be able to go to any college that they want to, unlike
Hmm.
most men or in America, like some don't focus on that. And it's like, leaving a legacy, and it's like I would think about, family wealth and things like that, like my last name, like all right, so it's
Yeah.
Hmm.
like my last name, your last name, so you'll be able to get back to your child. And then I start thinking
Right.
about like the mental things that was going on, like trials and tribulations, like with my own family, depression and things like that. That wasn't
Yeah.
things that they weren't like being spoken on and things like that. And just knowing like from the time that I left home in 2008 and it's 2021, like all the
Yeah.
trials, like things that I faced myself and had to, like at the end of times, like, lean on others, seek out help and like lean on God. It's like, it helped me to understand like, mental health and like, so it's like something I started stepping into, myself just so I can understand. Like that'll be my way to literally give back so much more than it was ever given or taught to me. Because like I was baptized in 2018, and
Mm.
my pastor, he literally told me, Pastor Barr, Robert Barr, he like when I came out the water, he was in my ear and he literally said, "Son, you're going to be able to touch 1,000 more people
Mm.
in a way that you never did in football on the football field." And it was like it gave me chills, and it still does because it's like
Yeah.
since then I've still seen it like come to pass, and it's because of like certain
Yeah.
steps that I've taken, just because it's like at the end of the day, it's like it's not about me. Um, I haven't made it to one NFL camp, like seen one NFL like training facility basically, but it's like
Right.
everybody asks me, it's like, man, like you're in the NFL, you're in the league, it's like you live like an NFL like player, and it's like because it's like at the end of the day, it's like I didn't need that to be like my life or my league. Like I made this
Mm.
what I'm living right now, like my reality at the end of the day,
That's awesome.
and so that I mean that's what I do, just make the most of it, learn to make the most
Yeah.
of it. Um,
Man.
just with a lot of relentlessness, honestly, and perseverance.
Yeah. It sounds too like you've found this way when you're talking about being baptized. I was reminded of a scripture where it talks
Mhm.
about those who build their foundation on the sand wither away, but those who build their foundation on the rock can survive pretty much any storm known to man. Now, I just totally paraphrased that verse, but the bottom line is those who have something that they're grounded in and standing on, they can make it through anything. And that's kind of when I'm listening to you talk, like you've really found a way to like put your life, your foundation on a rock, something that's solid, something that means something, so that when those times hit, you're able to persevere, like you said, through it and make it out on the other side a better man. I'm going to kind of bring it down just a little bit or bring it back up a little bit, and then we'll go back deep again. I only have one more question after this, so B Holmes, you can hit him with something.
Yeah.
But I just want to know this. You kind of maybe already answered it, but I want to just make sure. We always like to ask our guests. So there is a statistic, well-known statistic, and a lot of high school coaches use it when they're talking to parents and their athletes. And only 7% of high school athletes go on to play at the collegiate level. What I like to ask, you were in that 7%. Was there a moment, whether it was when you were a kid, whether it was when you were in high school, whether it was on the field, off the field, where you knew I'm in that 7%, whether it was like this moment of validation that confirmed like I am going to be a collegiate athlete one day?
So I would really say like in high school, like I was going through so much in high school to where literally my coach, he still remembers like I honestly wasn't gonna be there anymore. With things that were going on in home at the basically in the house with my mom's and in house basically, and still having to get up and go to school. But it was a moment. I remember I had got a concussion uh, my sophomore year, and at the end of the day, I was in the hospital bed, and people didn't understand like why I was so like upset like with my life, because I was like, man, at the end of the day, like I'm in the hospital bed, and my mom not here, like my family not here, and then again my senior year, um, I got hit by a car going 70 miles per hour. It hit me in my hip, drugged me. Um, basically, the nurse told me that I broke my knee, my hip, my pelvis, and then another nurse walked in and said that I wasn't going to walk again. And at that time, again, like, nobody in my family was there. And growing up in those circumstances, coming from Texas, and like being my family was right there, or supposed to be there, and never like really being there, like I knew it was like, man, this right here is the reason why I'm leaving. And so when my mom did show up that next day, I didn't give her my reasonings, but I told her, like, just come get me, like basically like like they give me Tylenol or whatever. At the end of the day, like I knew like she should have been there at that from it happening. But I got back to high school and they weren't able to work with me because I wasn't discharged from the hospital. So my coach told me he wasn't going to be able to let me play until I showed that I was basically able to suit up again. So for 3 weeks straight, like I was in the pool just doing the training that I do still to this day. rehabbing my legs and everything like that.
Yeah.
And basically just got back to running, got back to moving. And so
Mm.
for my birthday, I came back October 27th and like literally told my coach, like, look, I can move, like showed him and everything like that.
Mm.
And from that moment, then I knew it was like, yeah, I'm out of here. Because
Yeah.
everything that everybody saw of me then, like I came back like after getting hit by a car, like every time that I ran was
Right.
Yeah.
faster. Everything that I did was so
Wow.
much stronger. Like, and it was like, yeah, it's nothing that like I didn't even go to like I didn't listen to doctors anymore. I didn't listen to trainers anymore. I didn't let them like honestly help me anymore. Because I literally told them like, I was a kid and y'all are paid physicians, basically, doc, and y'all told me that I broke my knee, my hip, my pelvis, and you had another person come in and
Mm.
tell me that I wasn't going to walk again. And I moved my feet right then and
Mm.
there, and I literally came back 3 weeks
Yeah.
later, and I'm going to college, like with the football, track, and academic scholarship.
Mm.
So it's like y'all aren't. I
Wow.
can't listen to y'all anymore.
Hey, talk about that real quick. So you had a 3-part
Yeah,
scholarship.
3-part scholarship. I was about to say that
Mm,
is rare.
So what
mm.
was that? So
So yeah, basically, just graduating in the top percentage in high school that I was.
yeah.
That got me an academic scholarship that they agreed to. But I mean, basically going there, it's almost anybody basically can get it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was a scholarship for me, just for my grades, because
Hmm.
I understood
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
staying on top of them. And
Took
then
care of
the track,
business.
yeah, then the track scholarship as well. I was able to get that along with my brother because I mean that my brother honestly like he was blazing fast, like he was qualified for Olympic A and B standards for indoor and outdoor,
Mm.
Oh, wow.
and that was his thing. So it was like, but yeah, so
Hmm.
it was like those things. Like I went there and it was like, but then going to college and them not having that guidance and anyone telling you like how you needed to be in school because they don't program you for
Right.
that when you get to college. It's like you get to college and like if you are that athlete, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to be able to be in class, and they don't tell you that. It
Right.
happens in high
Mm-hmm.
school as well.
Mm.
Right.
Because reason being is because you being that premier athlete, you're gonna bring notice to the school. So guess what you're gonna have to do? You're gonna get pulled out of class. You're gonna have to go sit down for an
Yeah.
interview. Go talk with
Hmm.
Yes.
deans, talk with high school students, talk with other, and
Right.
bring stuff to the school. And it's like then basically like when that affects your grades, like it's like you're kind of pushed to the side and the next person moved in, and then it's like you have to sit back and wonder like as an athlete like, man, what the hell just happened to me, like because when I was
Yeah.
doing it.
And I'll tell you what,
No, I'm listening.
I was gonna say our young listeners right now, like y'all run that back and listen to what this man is saying. Like he is giving
Yeah.
you some free
That's
knowledge
free
of
game.
someone who's walked through it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I mean
No,
I just wanted
definitely.
to make sure that it's
because
golden what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
because what most don't understand is like as far as your freshman and sophomore year, those grades and that GPA, it does not matter because you're still going to be eligible to
Mm.
play. But your junior year, when your GPA matters, you're going to be ineligible, and then that's when the whole like, oh, student, like they're going to
Mm.
put you in your classes for tutoring and everything
Right.
like that. It's like, but I don't need classes for tutoring if you just let
Right.
me stay in class. Like, like understanding that. Like
Yeah.
honestly, you let me
Yeah.
Yeah.
stay in class, but it's like when it's beneficial to you, like you're gonna make me and
Yeah.
Yes.
stay along the path that's getting you money, the school
Absolutely.
money, because it's just like what's going on with a lot of the athletes.
Absolutely.
What they
Mm.
didn't understand is like, like, hey man, like I'm a human being, and my name is what was bringing these fans to this school to watch what we're doing in
Right.
football. Not they don't care who you are, but they care about what I'm doing on
Right.
this football
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
They're paying X
Mm.
amount of
Exactly.
money to see what I'm doing on the football field. Even if our team isn't good, I might just be the
Yeah.
person that. And so it's like once
That they
I
Right.
want to
start
see.
realizing that, it put me in this position like, dang, like y'all really like screwed us as athletes
Mm.
Yeah.
and
I
as
I
human
think it's just
beings,
realizing. Yeah.
because it
No,
was
I was
like,
saying, hate to cut you. I think it's. Oh, my bad. Go
no,
ahead,
no,
Dwayne.
no,
You're
you
way
listen,
more.
no, let
You
them,
got better stuff to say. No,
no,
I was saying that I think it's some people don't realize the business side of college sports. Like, you play football. I ran track, so it's completely different worlds. But like, I can attest to that, where you're going in, you're like, I remember running indoor and outdoor, and I'm missing class 3-4 days out of the week because we're at a meet, and the meets last 2-3 days, and no one's explaining. When you go to conference is a week-long meet, and you have your practice scheduled, and you have your rehab scheduled, and you got to get all that in. And so I think that's super informative, where especially our young listeners are understanding it's not always glitz and glamour when you get that scholarship and you get to go to the next level. It becomes, and I realized really fast, even as a track athlete, it's business first. Like, there is no student athlete. Like, this is business, but I still got to handle my business as the student to make sure I can still take a part of the business. Right.
And that's when you kind of get into that, man, I got to get in and get out. If I can get in my freshman year and like blossom and explode and get noticed my sophomore year, it's like I can get out of here and not even have to worry about that. It was like some people, I mean, like they basically try to focus on it. And that's why it's like, for the past 4 or 5 years, you've probably been seeing that. Like a lot of the 1-2 year studs, like they've been booking and getting out of there in a lot of the sports. And it's because like they starting to see like that business aspect. It's like, man, if I can get my name out there and get a buzz on my name, now I can start gaining these endorsements. I just have to, network with the right person. And that's what college taught me. Network. I didn't finish college. It's like the fact that I did join my fraternity, it was like it installed networking in me. And then when I did become professional, like the networking aspect of so much things that I have done has put me in the position that I am in now. When it comes to still like going into my 10th year as a professional. And it's like, man, some people don't even have a 10-month job or 10-week job or 10 or 10-year job, 5-year job. So it's like, days, man, like and so it's like, man, like my mom isn't here like to for me to like tell that to her grandma. It's like, man, I've had my career for like going on 10 years and been able to provide for my kids and without asking them wanting for anything. And it's like, no, I didn't make it to the NFL like at all. But it's like I made it this stat.
Yeah. So B Holmes, I want to get to our last question so we have time. I want him to have plenty of time to answer it because I think he's going to have some great stuff to say. Before I ask this last one, DeWayne, I got to tell you, when you were talking about getting hit by a car, for some reason I was reminded, you could see behind me, those of you watching, I'm a Razorback, okay? And so Coach Nolan Richardson used to have a saying, the legendary basketball coach. He used to say, if you ever see me and a bear in a fight, you better help that darn bear. I was thinking, if you see a vehicle and DeWayne going head to head, you better help that vehicle. And I'm thinking about these dudes. I'm thinking about these dudes. No wonder he's Mr. Hit Stick. I mean, the man got hit by a car, bro. Like he ain't worried about he's about to be laying.
And people don't even realize that. It's like, man, the hit stick, like they did that to me. It was like my first 3 years, but it's crazy because like my first 3 years in the league, like I wasn't known for hitting, and like literally, like I was just a ball hog, like I was in the air, and then by my 5th year, I think going to Sioux City, like I was on a team with veterans, so it was like I wasn't like a starter, so I literally was just in a position to hit. I was they just let me go on special teams and then sub me in the game, and it was like crowd control. So I was like, man, all right, I'll give y'all something. I'll give y'all something to pay attention to. You don't want to start me. You don't want to start me. I was like, the league is gonna know me. Like y'all are gonna know this was the wrong thing to do. Like you shouldn't have did this to me. It was like, man, I felt inside of me. It's like I'm a starter at the end of the day. Like I'm knowledgeable. It's like I bring a lot more to the game than just crowd control and just like for a spurt. So, but at the end of the day, it worked in my favor.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's switch gears. So kind of closing this thing out, we like to get off the field, which honestly, we appreciate you speaking to things off the field, man, all throughout this interview, man. I think people really got to see the depth and core of who you are. People who may not have known who you were prior to this interview, at least on the following that we're building. And then maybe even the people who do know, you got to see a different side. Yeah. So what's something off the field that you're passionate about or
A
is
cause.
personal to you, whether
Yeah.
it's a cause, whether it's something you want to promote. I mean, I do want to say, listeners, this man does have his own action figures.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get on that level one day. But
Yeah.
whether it's something like that you want to promote, whether it's something personal that you just want to raise awareness to, like, is there anything like that you just, you got the open mic, like, speak on it?
Yes, sir. So first and foremost, big shout out to Next Level Athlete, my agent over there, John P. And then Nation's Best, like definitely been supporting me throughout the years, 5+ years. Action figure guy, my man Brandon Faye,
Yeah.
like he always gonna hold me down no matter what, and like that networking thing has just put my career in just such a positive like light and just gave me more I guess you can say just uh solitude like in that.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
definitely when it comes to just like a lot of the mental health awareness a lot of us like go through
Mm.
like in this game and other games in life, because it was like at 28 I started looking back on my life and realized like a lot of things that was normal to me is not normal in life,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and my outlook in life just because of my upbringing it was wrong like at the end of the day. And it wasn't that I was wrong for thinking that. It was just understanding, like, man, I was dealt bad hand, like a lot of people. But I'm definitely
Mm.
in a position, like, a lot of people to show with my trials and tribulations, like you can still go forward and change that narrative, not only for yourself, but for the next generation up. Because there's going to be so many people that relate to your story and what you're going through and your
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
steps. Nobody's going to
Yeah.
be able to walk your same steps, but they're going to relate to it and it's going to touch
Right.
home
Absolutely.
for them. So like something in you, in your walk might spark them, instead of turning the wrong way, take that step in the right way. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then, I mean, like, so even with the mental health, a lot of cancers going on with a lot of people, um, breast cancer, lung cancer, like, um,
Mm.
but and it's just awareness like that, things like that, man.
Yeah.
Definitely for myself, for my own family. My grandpa, he has just lung cancer, and just like I said, understanding like just wanting to control, be upfront with myself, with my mental aspect, and just knowing that it's gonna be times where I'm gonna be put back in the pit, and now that I know and have the tools that I need, to handle those situations, I feel like I'll be in better, mental place, to not,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
take or look at things in the wrong light, or even take
Yeah.
altercations or even, conversations in the wrong light. Just to
Yeah.
Yeah.
be that role model and that mentor and leader that is needed in certain places. Because I even realized since I
Absolutely.
left home from Texas, that it is in the state that I haven't went to, that I haven't made the headlines for, and that's for like just for my career, and that's football
Yeah.
related, and just knowing
Yeah.
like that's a positive presence, and so with being there, I just gotta keep stepping and making sure like like that's the purpose, like if that's what God got me here doing, like just take it head on, and just keep
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
filling myself with the tools that he giving me, and I'm receiving, just to give that back out to the younger generation and people coming up that's going to be, because basically it's going to be a lot different like come these next 10 years, with sports and what's going on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it's just putting them in a position to do it better than we did it before us. Because like that's why I stay
Absolutely.
in the arena. Because like I'm still able to do my Sean Taylor diligence without
Yeah.
really getting fined too much or
Right.
kicked out of the league.
Right.
So it's like, man,
Yeah.
that's what I love about that.
Man, well, hey, we appreciate your
Thank you,
time
man.
today,
Yeah, we appreciate
Dwayne.
it.
Do you want to hit everybody with your socials real quick, like where they could
Yeah,
find
where they can
you?
find you.
Yeah, man.
We'll
So
put it
my
on the screen too, but if they're just listening, sorry, go ahead. Hit them with the
definitely,
socials.
I think my Twitter should be HybridDB um, 7. Uh, and then just my Facebook is going to be just DeWayne Autrey. Uh, you're going to have the Instagram, D Archery Official. And then Yeah, I said my Twitter already, right?
I think that's
Yeah, you got
yep.
to
You
say
The,
said
the
your
Twitter.
Twitter.
hybrid
So
hybrid DB. Yeah.
Yep.
Hybrid DB7. Yeah. So hey,
Yep.
look,
Hmm.
everyone watching, please hit subscribe right
Yes.
now. Especially if you enjoyed this, leave some comments. Let us know what you took away from this. I mean, I'm not even going to call it an interview. This conversation,
Yeah,
just
my
some
YouTube as
dudes
well,
talking
because
about
it's
real
like
life. Hit it up.
just my
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah my
drop your
regular
YouTube.
YouTube, and that's just regular DeWayne Autrey, Dwayne Ballhawk Autrey.
Okay.
Yeah, but much appreciated.
All
And thank
right.
y'all again for the opportunity and the happy holidays
Oh
to
yeah.
everybody. And Salina Liberty, we're definitely gonna be trying to come get. I shouldn't even say trying to like be bringing this championship back home, because that was my original
Let's go.
Yeah.
franchise. And like I told them, it's like, man, just winning my last 3 championships this year, and just knowing that I played this game long enough, and I played against champions, and now I am a champion, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know what it takes to bring this championship. And then with everything that's really like just going on, I just really think that I'm in a position to really take this with no questions asked. And
Yeah.
a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
things that I speak on, like they come to existence. So it's like God behind me and beside me and in front of me. So it's like the shield is there. So I don't think they want
Absolutely.
to be in
Let's
the.
get it.
I don't think they want to be in the way, but I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's like it is what it is.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
B Holmes, you got anything?
Man, no, I just want to say thank you, man. Hey, you just motivated me to go to the gym because I'm like, if Dwayne can get hit by a car moving at 70 miles an hour, I have no excuse to
I
put
mean,
down this
I was
Xbox
a kid.
controller. Go to
I
the
was a
gym.
kid. I was a kid at 16. Remember, it was what October 3rd,
Mm,
Wow.
2008. Man, like shit, they said I'd never walk again. And here I am,
Wow.
2021, going into my 10th year as a professional athlete, man. So
amen.
it's like
That's
that's
Glory
through
to
awesome.
God,
God.
man. That's why I can't
Yeah.
listen to
Absolutely.
word of man. I have to listen to the word of God, man. Honestly.
Absolutely.
Amen. Well, on
Well,
that note, we're signing off. Everybody, we appreciate you listening or
yes,
watching.
sir.
Remember, you can find us at Blue Blood CGT on all social media platforms. We're
Definitely.
also on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Just
Spotify.
type in Blue Bloods and you'll find us. We're the first ones. Give us a rating. Y'all know the drill.